Some people are saying that Sam Leavitt, the Arizona State quarterback, was lucky last year. He stepped into a great situation with Cam Scatteraboo, the running back, and he just rode his coattails all the way to the college football playoffs. But, Mensch, I don't believe in luck. My number's 13. I'll walk under the ladder. I'll smash a mirror. I'll stare that black cat right in the eye as he tiptoes past me, okay? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation, and that's what happened for Leavitt last year, and I can't wait to break down his tape right now. 308 days until the NFL draft. Mensch, you good?
I'm good, man.
Roll it, Tuck. Guy's talented, man. That's all you got for me?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go on another rant. I can't wait to talk about him. I have a comp that I can't get out of my head. Remember the Klubnik Baker Mayfield comp that we had that we just couldn't stop talking about?
Yep. No.
Was it Nussmeier?
Nussmeier, Baker Mayfield. Yep.
Sorry, Nussmeier. They're blending together now. Nussmeier and Baker Mayfield. That comp was so obvious to us. I think there's an obvious comp for this guy.
You've been on a wild ride with comps this summer. I can tell you're in a good mood.
Listen.
Things are going well in the Muench family. You got kids graduating college, going off in the real world. You've been giving out Matthew Stafford. You've been giving out Joe Namath, Joe Montana's, Tom Brady. You've been giving out some comps. So I'm excited.
I thought John Mateer from Oklahoma. I almost said John Elway, but I knew it was going to put you over the edge. You're just driving right off the cliff.
That's kind of the direction you've gone this summer. Let's just get into it, right? Let's get into it. Sam Leavitt. He's listed at 6'2", 200. Did I get that wrong?
Nope, that's correct.
He looks bigger than that, but
a little thicker. Yeah,
thicker than 200. Yeah. So he began his career. I think people, because everyone, remember, he won like freshman of the year last year in the Big 12. He won whatever it was. He won a bunch of awards, and all the talk in the college football playoff leading up to and in that game against Texas was a freshman quarterback. So I think people were surprised when there was like mention as the 2025 NFL draft wrapped up and people were starting to talk about prospects for next year. People were surprised. Like, what do you mean? Leavitt is just a freshman. He is eligible. He began his career at Michigan State. Okay. Played in 4 games sparingly, 23 pass attempts. He went 15 for 23, wound up redshirting before he transferred to Arizona State. Comes into ASU, had a fight on his hands. They didn't hand him the job. Okay. He beat out Jeff Sims, who's a talented quarterback, and then goes on to have the season he had. He led him to the Big 12 championship win, led the Sun Devils to the college football playoff. I mean, he we'll get to the Arizona State Texas game in the CFP, but he was an integral part of what had happened. And I thought he progressed significantly, especially after kind of a rocky start to the season. He finishes the year 11-2 record. He missed the Cincinnati game. I think it was an illness or something. He missed one game. It was 11-2 in the 13 games he started, completed 61.6% of his passes, 2,875 yards. And another guy like Mateer, for like a lot of the running and some of like the play, for a lot of the playmaking ability at that position, really did a nice job of protecting the football. 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 3-to-1 ratio is like kind of the Mendoza line, if you will. Not to play on Mendoza from a couple shows ago. And speaking of shows ago, you can go back and watch all of these. We've done Mendoza. We've done Cade Klubnik, Lenora Sellers. We've done Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning. All of these shows. There's a whole series if you want to watch on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get a podcast, including especially Apple as well. go back and check those out. Mensch, while we're here, why don't you tell the folks how they can continue to support us? And the support has been unbelievable, even in the summer months, as we're kind of the dead period in college football and the NFL. Still, the support that we're getting, we're greatly appreciative of. And we're going to need that continued support going into the year to try to build this thing in our first full season, our first full year on the NFL and college football calendar of the McShay Show. So how can people help support us, Mensch?
Go to YouTube, find the McShay Show, hit the subscribe button. Go to Spotify, hit the follow button. He's at McShay13 on all his socials, including Threads, which apparently I have to get into now. That's another thing I have to do.
Yeah, talk to Marissa.
Okay. Yep. I'm at You Good Mensch, which is MUENCH. And then please consider subscribing to the McShay Report. It's good. Listen, if you want to be ready for next year's draft, if you want to get ready, now is the time. Get in now. Don't wait. Get in now because you want a baseline of where these guys were, and you want to be able to say to your friends, "Oh, McShay was talking about Lenore Sellers way back when, and I knew about this guy because I'm following. I'm on the McShay Report." Just go ahead and get it now.
The second half of our careers, I've talked to you about it, and I know you're in agreement. It's dedicated to we're trying to create a smarter audience around stuff. Especially the NFL draft, but even the NFL process, the college football game, evaluating talent. And that's kind of my mission now. And I know you share that with me. Let's get out ahead of stuff. Let's do the way NFL scouts do it. Let's share the process so that there's, I guess I got to the point, at ESPN, like trying to climb the ladder, trying to get on that first night of the draft, and then getting on the first night, one on the, be a part of all of it, and ABC, and climb and get better games. And I'm working with McDonough and Spielman and Levy and Greasy, and always climbing. It's a competitive nature. And now it's all right, we're home. What we want to do, what's our mission? Our mission is to not allow fans who love this game that we love, who put in a ton of time. You'd be shocked at how many people I talk to mention that they're watching tape where they can get it. They're making their own boards. They're creating their own mock drafts. So if we're all going to do this together, let's just be smarter about it. Let's share all the 25 years of experience, and let's create a smarter community, if you will, and let's kind of grow it from there. And that's what we're doing. So that's all part of this. Back to Leavitt. So this year he puts up those big numbers and they have a great run. I was excited to get into his tape because I saw a lot of things.
Can we also just put this in perspective too, that this Arizona State program had won 3 games the year before and looked like it was in a bad spot. And then they were in trouble at the beginning of the year at Texas State. They won that game by a field goal. And if you're looking at where that Arizona State program was on September 12th, coming off that Texas State win, you're wondering where things are going. And for him to really take the bull by the reins, or whatever you'd say, the horse by the reins, and take that program where he took it, I think speaks volumes about who he is in terms of his competitiveness, in terms of his leadership too. I do have a note on that to bring up later on that I want to ask you about something. But in terms of being a leader and being a guy who wants to be a winner, this guy screams winner to me. He wants to do whatever it takes to get his program where it needs to go.
Well, and that's why I opened this up, because just in doing some reading and different things, it's he's talented, but man, he got lucky that he was dropped in an offense with Scadaboo, and Scadaboo carried him, and the play action set everything up, and this is
my comp, man. I can't wait to drop this comp.
Okay. Get out of here with that stuff. It's not about luck. It's about preparation. And we're not talking about Nussmeier 5 years of waiting around for his turn and all that. But we are talking about a guy who Michigan State programs an array, gets an opportunity, takes the opportunity, got himself prepared for it, won a QB battle, and now all of a sudden starts 13 games and goes 11-2. That's preparation meeting opportunity. And I've kind of lived my life on that. I don't believe in luck. I believe in, it's not always going to go your way just because you're prepared. You might not get the opportunity, might not all match up, but get your ass prepared. So when you get that opportunity, you don't have any regret in life, right? So that's what he did, and I appreciate that. Let's play our game. Mental makeup, accuracy, release / arm strength, and pocket mobility. The 4 quarterback specific traits. We talk about it always, and I'm still wearing my golf shirt from the other day. We're taping 2 shows on Monday. It's no secret when you see how we're dressed.
Really letting them behind the curtain now.
Yeah, whatever. I told everyone I'm going to be completely transparent in the show. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Summer, we're all trying to utilize some time during the downtime to be with our family and have a little break from it. So we're taping 2 shows on Mondays, and we're doing all the work and then in the 6 days in between. But I mentioned golf because it's similar. Like our grading scale, we go through 1 through 5. 1 being excellent, 2 being above average, 3 being average, 4 being below average, and 5 being marginal. Okay. And the lower the score, the better, if you will. So you're trying to keep it below par here. So we'll start. And this game has become my favorite game, is Muench versus McShay. It's not even a versus. It's just comparing the grades that we have. And let's go through each of them. Accuracy. What do you got? 1 through 5, Muench?
2.
I went 2.5.
Okay.
Not far off. Release arm strength. We'll get back to it. I always want to make comments, but I'm going to shut up.
Wait, do we do mental makeup?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Mental makeup.
2.
I am a 2 as well.
Okay. So now we're on release.
Mental makeup is 2 for both of us. Accuracy, 2.5. You had 2.
Yep.
Okay. Release arm strength.
2.5.
Really?
What'd you go with?
1.5.
Interesting.
Okay. We'll get to that. Pocket mobility.
2.
I am a 2 as well.
I hate when we agree.
So release, you gave him 2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mensch, as we've been doing with all these quarterbacks, once we settled in on a format, you start things off. I don't have a comp yet.
Here's my comp.
Go ahead.
And he has not played a snap in the NFL. Another guy who was said that was lucky. He played on the right offense. Didn't get a lot of passing attempts his last year.
JJ.
And the idea is JJ McCarthy, man. I could not get it out of my head. Same kind of frame. JJ ended up being 219 at the combine, but he was listed around 200 at Michigan and was kind of a leaner guy. Mm-hmm. So I see similar frames. I think that Leavitt's probably a little bit bigger and JJ was probably a little bit bigger than what he was listed. Similar frames. I love the thing that really jumps out to me is their intermediate passes, the 10 to 19 yard passes, the timing, the touch. When the ball gets out in rhythm, these guys, both of these quarterbacks are really good in that area, especially on in-breaking routes, throwing into windows. I also think that you can say whatever you want about Cam Scadaboo, and there's a lot of great stuff to say about what he did for that team. And you can say whatever you want about Blake Corum for Michigan 2 years ago. When these guys need to make plays to their team, both McCarthy and Leavitt, they step up and make plays. And they will get hit in the mouth. They will get cut in half. Leavitt got cut in half in the BYU game trying to make a throw. They will make a throw when they need to. And I don't think either one of them, I think Leavitt's probably a little bit better of an athlete and a little bit better of a runner. I don't think either of them is an elite athlete as a runner, but they will hurt you if you give them a chance to scramble or extend the play. They will find a way to make plays with their feet too, to extend a drive, to keep things going, whatever it takes, again, to win. I couldn't get it out of my head. And then you add the ball skills, the way they move. Again, not elite athletes, but they move really well when they're getting out from under center, all of these things, their ball skills on play action, the way they can get linebackers to come up and then exploit those windows that they've created for themselves. All of those things, to me, it's JJ McCarthy all over again. And I was super high on McCarthy coming out. I had him quarterback 4 behind Drake May, who was the quarterback 3. That was just a great class. I think in a lot of classes, McCarthy would have been higher. And you can look at it again. Leavitt played 2 fewer games, but when you look at it, McCarthy had 332 passing attempts his last year, and Leavitt had 350 last year. I mean, McCarthy's last year, which was 2023, Leavitt had in 2024 18 more passing attempts. So you're looking at a similar body of work. Some of the passing concepts are different at Arizona State that they were at Michigan, but a lot of play action, a lot of a very run-heavy offense in the way that it set up the passing game. And to me, man, this screams JJ McCarthy all over again.
It's not, I like it actually.
Yeah.
I like
good.
it.
You should like it.
I actually think he has a little bit of a stronger arm.
Interesting.
Leavitt than McCarthy, but
I think people were low on McCarthy's arm strength.
Okay.
I think he has a stronger arm than people realize. That's not a knock. And here's the other thing. We've talked about this with some of the other evals, and you got to be careful about it, is watching Mateer's arm strength, which is the quarterback we evaluated just before this. I think he has a stronger arm than Leavitt, and whether or not that made me push Leavitt's overall grade, the trait grade down a little bit, that's a real possibility, and you got to be aware of that as an evaluator.
It's hard sometimes too when you're evaluating a quarterback. Like, there's differences in energy on the ball. I think Leavitt throws a heavier ball, and I don't mean that like it's hard to describe what's in my brain sometimes.
Yeah,
but like with Mateer's, it's like snap, you know.
Yeah,
this is like barrel. I guess it's the difference between like a Ferrari going fast and like an SUV barreling down at the same speed or whatever. You know what I mean? It just has a different energy about it, like, you know, versus a kind of like cutting through. Anyway, I think Leavitt, I think we're just seeing the beginning with this guy. I think his future is really, really bright. I think a lot like Mateer we talked about on Monday, tough, competitive. I think, you know what I like about him? I just think he's a natural athlete.
I think he's a natural runner. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he's an elite athlete, but he has an instinct as a runner. He can make guys miss every once in a while. I'm like, where did that come from? He'll shake a guy every once in a while. I'm like, where is that coming from?
Coordinated, light, kind of light on his. He's not at all. I don't want to oversell that, but he's like kind of like that basketball athletic, like, and that's why I don't know. It seemed like he was closer to 6'3" or something. Like he just kind of looked a little longer than like 6'2" guys are usually like. I don't know, but I felt like he was coordinated. He had just had a good sense of his surroundings. He made that one move when he needed to. Extended plays. He extends a lot of plays, man.
Yeah, he has a great feel for it in the pocket. Yep.
And he knows when to take off and run. And we'll get to the pocket stuff in a little bit, but like he just knows when to run, where to run, how to attack. Makes like, I forget, I think it was the Arizona game, maybe like he tucks it, runs, and he's the one guy in the like a linebacker in space, and he just makes that one cut. Like it's not a lot of nonsense, just like, you know, and goes. Yeah.
Great feel as a runner.
Like instinctively athletic is what I wanted to say. Like coordinated, instinctively athletic. He's just like one of those guys. Like, oh, that guy's a ball. You see him out.
He's
like,
the guy.
Pick up.
Play with this kid in high school. You play with this kid in high school who looks. He's not very. He doesn't impress you with the way he's built. And then you get him on, and he may not run the fastest 40. He may not jump the highest vertical. And then you get him on a field, and you're like, dude, where did that come from? Like this kid is balls. Yeah,
he doesn't dress real sharp. He doesn't have like an aura about him. When he walks in the room, but then you get him. I'm like, fuck, how that? Wait, him? Johnny scored 24 today. Johnny threw 5 touchdowns. Johnny had 3 home runs. Like, you know, like they don't. Yeah. So in pads, like he may be the best dressed son of a gun. You know, he might be Brad Pitt for all I know. He might be beautiful and buttoned up and all those. I'm just saying, to draw your comparison, he's just a guy who walks in and you're not like, oh, okay, we're in for a long day, but then he just carves you. More importantly, getting into this, I think he has fast eyes. I think he doesn't always know where to go with his eyes. I think he's still learning. I saw a lot of progress from like that Wyoming game to Kansas. The Wyoming game. You could see this guy is a pup, you know, and there were some things, but then I wonder, like Kansas game, a little bit more confident. Then you get down to like Arizona, and now he's dealing. It's also worth noting with this guy, first 4 games, man, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah. I felt like UCF was a big turning point for him. I felt that game was a big turning point for him. The way he played at the end of that game.
That was after Kansas.
That was his
team.
Arizona,
I think, right?
Yeah, now it's his team after that game.
And he just kept getting better. And then down the stretch, it was 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions first 4 games. Then he threw 21 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions in the last 9. So you always want to see go ahead.
Or 2 picks over the last 7 games. I mean, he's starting to get it. You can see it on tape. You can see it in the numbers. He's starting to get it.
I think he's at his best off play action.
Oh, which absolutely
makes sense with Scadaboo and that offense. But especially as I started charting these plays and going down, red flagging all of them, he's deadly accurate on in-cutting routes. You notice that?
Yep, the in-cutting route. Yep, when they're breaking over the middle, man.
Breaking over the middle. Now, it's not as I'm not doing a deep dive like I did with Drew Aller and Aller, guys running away from him versus in-cutting versus like Aller was like a mind fuck, like going through like what is actually going on. You know what I mean? Like, because he's so talented and all these things, but why is he struggling with these throws, even like the flats and the dump offs when guys are running away from him versus like the harder throws, like between windows, in cutting, and when guys on comebacks and different things. This one isn't as like complicated. This is just the in cutting routes. And what I liked about it is throwing between defenders, leading receivers open, knowing the right time to pull the trigger. Like he's really good in like intermediate stuff. I thought he was really good in intermediate stuff, especially good play action, and especially like his best thing is come off the play action, get his eyes around, throw to a spot that a receiver goes and off and running.
It almost looked like muscle memory to him. It was don't overthink it. I've got this look. I've got this route. I've got this matchup.
Drilled this my whole life.
Yep. You just did step 1, step 2, step 3. We're not overthinking it. We're just going to continue to take what this defense is giving me. And it's honestly, some people might not think that's that fun to watch. For me, I love it. I just love seeing the rhythm that those kind of passers get into. So to me, I mean, and when we talk about play action, he's best off play action. I think some people might look at that like, well, he needs to get bigger windows and he needs a strong running game. I actually think it's a good sign of him.
There's an art to it.
Yeah, and I also think it's a good sign of him transitioning to a pro-style offense. I think there's a lot of play action in pro football. Like it's a good trait to have.
I think he's a more talented Brock Purdy.
Interesting. I don't hate that.
And I think he would be awesome in the Shanahan tree.
Mm-hmm. I see that too.
Kevin O'Connor, obviously Shanahan, San Francisco, whether it's a Mike McDaniel, like I think, but he has a bigger arm than some of those guys. He's a bigger arm than Purdy. He's more mobile than Purdy. I'm not like, let's see after a couple of years. I don't know whether it's going to be after this year or after 2026 for the 27 draft, whatever it is.
Yeah, he doesn't turn 21 till December, by the way. He's going to be 20 for most of the season.
So we're doing this report like knowing full well that it's probably going to be for 2027, and that's fine too. It's also just getting prepared for college football season. It's coming off of an awesome year he had last year. It's a guy that's kind of a household name that we wanted to get to, but he's got a lot of upside. I think I like his accuracy throwing on the move, right? Does a nice job of getting his hips around. It's like it was such a departure from Mateer. And I told you, like, back to the line of scrimmage, arm out like that. That was so wild that it was good to see. Like, I don't know who coached him in high school. I don't know like what coaching he got at Michigan State before coming to Arizona State. But while young and still developing and has to drill home some of this, the footwork and especially the deep ball stuff. I saw a guy that's pretty like even when rolling out to his left, getting his hips back around. You know what I mean? Like it's been somewhere in his history, and this is why we do it in June. Now we can go back and we can read a little bit more. I'm going down to the Manning Passing Academy, which was kind of all came about last minute. You're going to come down in future years, but I'm going to swing down there for a couple of days. But I'm just excited. Like I want to get to know more behind the scenes on some of these guys in the history. And I'm really curious to see, excuse me, what his training has been, because I see some mechanical, like some fundamental things that I really like. His deep ball, though, is interesting. He can do it. He threw there's a beautiful ball, 159, third quarter, Kansas game. No, that's the in-cutting route. Oh, it was 11:53 earlier in the Kansas game. I knew it was Kansas. Beautiful ball early in the game. A few minutes into the first quarter. Perfect trajectory down the right rail. Right on time. It was like from the 35 or something going in the end zone. And not like one thing to get it there and they go up, like dropped it over the DB's head with late energy on the ball, whereas the outside shoulder, it's like exactly where and we talk about dropping in the bucket, to put the bucket in the back corner of the end zone and try to drop the ball in. He did it from like the 35. It wasn't from the 10, but like to drop it in with that energy and the right, it wasn't like a high arcing ball. It was like on the right line and right at the end. Beautiful. But there were a lot of other examples of him overshooting, a couple undershooting,
throwing guys out of bounds every once in a while.
Yep. So I saw all those things. And,
he does an excellent job of throwing to the corner of the end zone. I think that's something that he excels at. When you get him in the red zone and he's got you want to run those rub routes, pick routes, depending on which side of the ball you're on.
Yeah.
And you want to hit the guy right in the corner of the end zone on the run. That's something that that's a great trait to have again. And that's something that he excels at.
When he misses on intermediate stuff or, 10 to 30 yards, like when guys are facing him, he tends to miss high. Mm-hmm. It's correctable. But there's a lot of throws, even catches where it's outside the strike zone. That I just felt like he's missing high. So it's deep ball accuracy, more consistent with that. It's the missing high aspect where he can improve. Okay. And it's just playing more games, like more game experience, and doing it this year without Scadaboo.
Are you worried about the sacks? I think he takes some sacks that he doesn't need to take. I think there's this time, and this is you take the good with the bad, right? He's so competitive that I think that he is not willing to just throw the ball away. He is going to try and extend, and it ends up him taking 7-8 yard losses where he's just got to get rid of the ball, learn to live to fight another day, whatever it is. There were times where it's like, just get rid of it, man. It's over. I know. I've seen you make plays on plays like this before, but this one's over. You just got to get rid of the ball, throw it out of bounds, and move on.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Tell me if I'm an old angry scout, because this is the thing. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying it's a big deal, but a minor thing that I'd like to see him clean up a little bit is.
I love stuff like this. Whenever you preface something,
I'm tiptoeing
because I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm tiptoeing because I know I'm going to get in trouble with some people, but the body language at times has to be a little bit better. The throwing the hands up, throwing the hands on the thigh pads. And it's, don't
he's
show
also like 14 years old, man.
I totally agree. And he's also, again, you take the good with the bad. I'd rather that guy who's going to be competitive as hell than the guy who's like, oh, well, we'll just get him next time. You know what I mean? But I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And I think when you're.
Agree.
So, yeah. I mean,
let's see some maturity.
I'm not making a mountain out of it. Don't. Muench hates Leavitt because he can't control his emotions. That's not what I'm saying.
It's kind of a fiery bunch there in Arizona State. From the head coach, the running back's a lunatic last year.
They got after each other, I felt like, a couple times. I didn't see it on tape, but I saw it during the year, during like some of the TV production. It was they didn't. Yeah, there was no holding punches there.
It's kind of it's not for the like faint of heart playing for Arizona State.
No.
Which can be a great thing as long as it doesn't become a detractor,
Talk to me about Texas. Talk to me about Texas. What do you think about the Texas game?
Ups and downs.
Gritty. Didn't have his best receiver. Jordan Tyson wasn't there.
Which we should have mentioned earlier in this. Right. I mean, and when you say best receiver, that's like taking Jordan Jefferson off of Minnesota. That's like, you know what I mean? Like,
especially because of what Tyson does in there. He's a lot of like quick game. He can take the top off the coverage, but he does everything. He's an extension of their running game. There's so many things that Jordan Tyson does for them that opens up their entire offense. And you're going to look at that and you're going to see the interception in overtime, and you're going to see that the numbers weren't great. I thought he was really gutsy. I think Scadaboo was obviously the story of that game, but Leavitt was gutsy in that game. He made some plays with his feet, just, trying to find a way. They were, they just were they were not nearly as talented as that deep Texas team. And the fact that they took him to 2 overtimes, I think he made a lot of plays where he was just gutting it out. And there were some mistakes. He could have been more consistent, all of that stuff. But I don't walk away from that performance being like, as soon as they played a real team, this kid couldn't hang.
No, and the thing about football is when you play it's not like NBA. It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball. It's not like we got a pitcher and a batter. We got 5-on-5, but there's a lot of ISOs. It's not like that. When you're a quarterback playing in the game of football, like if you can't protect and you're only a receiver that can actually line up with those Texas DBs and create a problem and maybe draw a safety over and all that isn't in the lineup, it's tough sledding, man. And that front four for Texas every year, and especially last year, is brutal. You got Sorrell, you got the big guy with 95 who got drafted. You got two. No, they have Broughton,
Collins, and Broughton. Yeah,
Collins, Sorrell. And the freshman.
Yeah, we're missing the best player. I can't think of his name freshman.
Right now. Yeah, Williams, right? Or
how are we not? Anthony Hill. Oh, there's Anthony Hill, Colin Simmons.
Colin Simmons.
But Anthony Hill too, man.
Yeah. So my point is, like, they're not protected, all of it. But yes, I saw the things you saw. I did see the grit. I did see the competitiveness. They were in a hatchet fight with a butter knife.
Yeah.
As my old baseball coach used to say, like, show up to a hatchet fight with a hatchet. Well, they just didn't have a hatchet at their disposal. Right. So, but a lot of positive things to take from this season. I am, like, to sum it up for me, the talent is there. There's enough good athleticism and pocket mobility there. I want to see him. Sometimes the eyes are dropping. Sometimes he's a little bit like if the first thing isn't there, it's kind of like, let's run to then pick the eyes back up and look. I don't want to oversell, but there's just a little bit of that quarterback immaturity. And I talked about I do think he's been drilled well. I do think he has good mechanics. I think he's got a foundation to build on. Now it's about taking that next step this year. And now he's got to do it without Scadaboo. I ain't calling it luck last year. Everyone can go bleep themselves, go make love to themselves about the luck last year, because he was every bit a part of everything that happened last year. But now he does have to do it without Scadaboo. And now defenses are going to be focused on him. And we always talk about phases of quarterback. The first year is putting it on tape, being the starter, handling all those pressures. Now the second year is, what was my line that you hated because it was actually good? It was rinse, repeat, and refine. Rinse, repeat, refine. Rinse, repeat. So now he's in the rinse, repeat. So, like, wash everything away that we had last year, repeat it, repeat all your process and get, but then now we got to refine it, because you get defensive coordinators that have seen you once. There's a whole year of tape, even if they didn't play you one-on-one. So, like, this is a big year for him. And now you don't have that star running back in your backfield. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see Mateer, we talked about on Monday in Oklahoma. This guy's not going anywhere. I'm excited to see, because it almost feels like a whole new team. It's his team now. Everyone knows who he is, what he does, what his tendencies are. So how does he counter that with the way what he's done in this offseason and the way he comes out and plays? Because he got that much better from that Wyoming game and even the Kansas game to what we saw down, in the second half of the year. So now it's on him to make that next step. But I freaking love this dude. I'm telling you, I think he's got a chance. I think he's got a chance to really elevate. I love his grit. I love his competitiveness. I love how instinctive he is. I love his athleticism. I like his arm better than you, all those things. I think Leavitt is going to be an NFL starting quarterback and could be a pretty good one. And I'd love to see him in a Shanahan tree, but we'll see. Like, that's for way down the road.
Agree on all of it, man. I'm excited this is just another guy to talk about with this class.
Yeah. It is a loaded class. This is fun. All right. But next week we're back. We're gonna change it up. I think this is it for the quarterbacks. We're gonna go Caleb Downs next week. We're gonna go Jeremiah Love and some of the other top running backs. We'll get some other top DBs. Clemson fans, hang around.
Let's go.
This is Muench's team this year. We're getting to Clemson. Like, scouts are just great. If you're a Southeast scout and you get Clemson in your area, this is like the best group they've had in about a decade of talent. And they used to have, like, it used to be like up there with the Georgias and Alabamas and the, old days of the like USCs. And so like Ohio States. So this is going to be a fascinating year for Clemson. And we're going to cover all that. We're going to have an NFL mailbag coming up. There's a lot to be excited about this summer as we're trying to strike the perfect balance between grinding it out and enjoying life a little bit before it gets crazy in August. We appreciate you. We love you for being here. Thanks for joining us in this ride. And we'll see you next week. Later. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 plus and present in DC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.